I would like to call to order this. Sorry, I'm working completely off my computer right now. Monday, October 25th, meeting of the school committee at 9:34 a.m. This meeting is being recorded. And I will now do a call to order. Leo Brown.
Here.
Can you?
Oh, here.
Thank you. And Tim Knight.
Here.
All right, Megan Glenn.
Here.
And Anna Mae O'Shea Brooke.
Here.
Okay, so the first thing we have to do today, which awkwardly, I was just looking for the exact wording, but I wanted to, I felt that it was important, as we are the one of the three co-sponsors of the warrant article that will be brought to special town meeting, I'm sorry, I just got a little distracted there. We wanted to bring the or approve officially the warrant committee article that will be brought before a special town meeting for the schools, because we are one of the three sponsors of it. So it'll be by the school committee, the school building committee, and the selectmen, right? So I know this is funny, but Anna Mae, do you have the exact wording of that right now? I was looking for it on the town website thinking.
Definitely do not.
Oh, crud. Okay. All right. While we search for that, maybe we can contact Christine. Things went a little funny here this morning. Perhaps I will table that first agenda item and go to the second agenda item, which is that I wanted to have a brief discussion about what the parameters are of the the special town meeting as stipulated by Scott McDermott at the warrant committee meeting last Tuesday. I'm sorry, at the selectmen's committee last Tuesday. So essentially what Mr. McDermott has proposed is a very spread out meeting in which he is trying to accommodate as many people as possible and listen to as many voices in the room as possible. But he also understands that the school issue is one of those things that we have been talking about for close to 5 years now. And he is looking essentially for kind of closing arguments from people. And I think he is doing his best to structure the vote and the discussions so that they do not take forever, and trying to offer as many opportunities for people to get into the building or feel safe within the parameters of what we have done historically through school. Okay. Through the school, sorry, I got distracted again. My apologies. It is first thing in the morning and I had about 20 different things that I had to deal with over the last 45 minutes where I thought I was going to be able to prep this a little bit better. So my apologies again. Anyway, moving on. So I essentially wanted to talk about what Mr. McDermott outlined at the selectmen's meeting, which was, although it sounded, I think, to many people different than is usual, I don't know that I feel like it is that much different from any other town meeting that we've particularly had, except that there is a really significant concern about keeping people safe in an indoor meeting, because an outdoor meeting is essentially impractical in November. Having some outdoor space, having some designated space for people who are truly immunocompromised and would not feel or be safe within kind of a larger arena, even with masking and not packing people in and having the same airflow and everything else. So we have kind of a bunch of multiple spaces. And then the major change would be in specific that there will be a paper ballot as opposed to the stand up aye, nay. And I think that in my understanding from Mr. McDermott and other communications that he's had over time, that he really does feel as though this is the best way to make sure that every vote is counted, that every vote is observed, and that the end count is essentially unassailable, so that everyone knows that the project as voted is the true and correct numbers. And he's put some safety and kind of validating parts into that, so that once somebody is assigned to, say, an alternative space, you must remain in that alternative space for the period of time, so they'll fill the gym first. They'll have the library for people who have concerns about their health and their ability to be within that kind of COVID possible area. Will overflow into the cafeteria, then we overflow into the auditorium, and then we overflow into kind of perhaps an outdoor space if necessary. And that those ballots will be taken within that room, observed, and then those ballot boxes will then be taken to a central location, and they will be counted and also observed by kind of independent auditors. And during the period of time that we are counting, or the town is counting those ballots, people are free to leave. You can leave and hear it later on the news, or you can stay and we'll all figure out something to talk about, or maybe just tell each other the Patriots score. So that's the paper ballot part of this. I think that there are some concerns that some people have had about childcare, and there was an admitted misstatement or kind of misunderstanding about the role of what the BOH said about whether childcare is allowed. Childcare is allowed, and in fact, the BOH does not have jurisdiction over school-based activities, which is what the childcare will be. It is for every person in town who needs childcare. It will be at the Blake Middle School, as far as we understand at this point, and it's being run through the National Honor Society students as part of their community service, and with community help as well. And so there is childcare for ages from 1 to, I think we said 11. So for that full elementary and lower elementary and down to age 1. One thing I might want to clarify with Mr. McDermott is kind of a babes in arms. What do we do for people who literally have infants who would not be able to attend town meeting without their infant? I think that that's a reasonable question to ask. Because I think that the BOH did kind of recommend, but don't have any binding authority to say that they didn't think kids should be in town meeting. And there is some part of the charter that says that, like 15 to 17-year-olds can attend as kind of viewing members. But there really isn't any language about kids under, I don't think. But I do think it's generally discouraged to have younger kids, especially within the virus, kind of milieu. Like, it's not just about kind of like procedure, but it's about having kids that we know could not be vaccinated in with populations of people who could infect them in a larger venue. So does anybody have any kind of questions or things that they're thinking about that? Please, Jeff. Yeah.
Just to interject, just because I've been corrected a couple of times the last few weeks. The town is really clear that this is a voting card and not a ballot, because a ballot is a whole
Thank
other,
you.
yeah, a ballot is a whole other process.
Thank you.
So that they'll be giving voter cards, and I've done the same thing, Jess, and they've been, they made it clear to me that it's a voting card, not a ballot.
Okay, great. So, and those will, though, we do know, be collected within each room that essentially once, oh, and the other clarification that Mr. McDermott made was that you will be able to register to go into town meeting up until the time that he calls the kind of essentially what he calls a read of the room. Has everybody here spoken? Or do we feel as though it is time to call this to a vote? Does anybody feel as though they will change their mind? We've seen this happen before in other town meetings. And he essentially kind of sees that as a judgment call. And he kind of said, like when you see 50% of the people rolling their eyes into the top of their head because they've heard all of this before, then he makes a call, and people may say, no, we want to keep on talking about this, or they'll say, yes, we want to take that to a vote. That is at the point at which he will shut down all discussion and all registration. So it is so that at that point, you will no longer be able to walk into the meeting, register, and get to a place where you can submit your voter card. So I know that there had been some thought that you would have to come and write a quorum, like it would start and then you would be locked in and that you would not let anybody else in. And that is not the correct impression. So, and he has been pretty clear about that.
Hey, Jess, sorry. I just sent you the warrant article in an
thank you.
email. So it's pretty long, but.
All right. I think that in clarifying, we can simply vote to, as co-sponsors, we can simply vote to approve the full project, right? That this is our kind of final vote of the full project. So I think what we can do is that we can say, we, as the school committee, we can make a motion. Okay, great. Actually, I'll just come back to that. Is there any input that we feel we would like to give to the moderator to kind of clarify anything? He is meeting tomorrow with the warrant committee. So this would be the time if we felt that there was some level of confusion about some of the things that he proposed at the selectmen's meeting. Please let me know and we can kind of draft a response to him.
Yeah, so Jess, thanks. I'm wondering, so he's allotted, I believe, SBC 12 to 15 minutes to speak. And
Is
so
that 12 to 15 minutes?
I
Okay,
think-
I had heard, and then there's 4 minutes each, right, for each of the packs. Is that correct?
that I did re-listen to it. I
Okay.
don't remember that
So
bit.
maybe that would be one. Can you clarify the format in like formal speaking engagement?
Yeah, so I'm taking it as the school committee is not making a formal statement. This is just SBC.
That's my understanding.
Oh, because because I know the warrant, I know the Board of Selectmen. It just everyone was listed, but not school committee. But I didn't think if if it's. I just wondered.
Well, would we like to petition for that, or do we feel that it would be another kind of, we can handle it 2 ways. All right. So we do have a meeting just before a special town meeting. My understanding is that citizens can stand up and do 2 minutes. I would be happy to construct a statement with the school committee in that I would present on our behalf within the citizen comments, which then doesn't necessarily extend the meeting beyond or cloud kind of more issues, that we kind of essentially say that we had some very specific very good reasons that we've discussed this kind of multiple times, and this is our bullet points educationally, we can say that. Again, that's something we might want to put on the agenda.
I think
Um,
I mean, you have more credibility, even, and I don't think we want more, a lengthy thing. I agree, almost read 3 minutes, but we are the school. I mean, we are the school committee.
I think
Yeah,
I think that's more
there's been a lot of
credible
effort
than
for school
the
committee
citizen
input
raising
into
it.
the process. I'm
all
with
right, hold
Tim.
on a second. I'm going to hold on. Leo, Tim, tell me what the rest of what you were saying there. And then Leo.
I was just saying, I think it would be worthwhile to request that. I'm not suggesting 15. I'm suggesting very net, whatever the vote is that we're going to have in a few minutes, but highlighting why.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
And
it's,
then,
there's been a lot of feedback about hearing from the school committee specifically, even though we're represented on the school building committee. I think that I've heard a lot of saying, well, what do the schools say about this? It's particularly when I'm talking about teachers and everything else, right? The SBC doesn't really represent the teachers. I mean, that's where we come in. So I think, I think there could be a lot of questions around that. I think having a specific statement from us, but I agree with Tim about, I don't think we need to tack on another 15 minutes to reiterate. So.
Anna Mae, you feel?
Yeah, to Tim's point, I don't think us going up to one or mic number 1 or number 2 as school committee is really the best look,
I didn't, yeah, I
Yeah,
understand that. I think that we had been kind of talking about different models.
Yeah,
Because
but
I had
if
been
I
talking about
just,
people.
I would just clarify with Mr. McDermott, if, and I just agree once again, short, succinct,
Scripted and with 2 cups of coffee so that I'm faster and a little bit more on than I am this morning.
That's all right. It just, but just, succinct.
Yeah.
I would, the only thing is, I think I wouldn't say clarify or, hey, could we, look, if you're going to have SBC, Board of Selectmen or, Select Board as it's moving on, which I like, warrant committee, it would be appropriate for the school committee to have, read a statement. We would ask, I'd be direct.
All right.
And again, 3 minutes if that makes it easier, right?
Max.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of knows what we're talking about here. I do think it's important that we represent ourselves as a committee, particularly because this is an educational project.
Yeah, we've all put a heart and soul and massive amount of work in there.
True enough. Megan,
Yeah,
do you have
I
any thoughts
agree
about
with.
that?
I agree that it should be at the podium and not at a mic, just so it, as a sponsor of the warrant, you get your statement as well.
Okay. And Jeff, Michael, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Well, just those bulleted points. There's been a lot of misinformation flying around, and people who, frankly, are just trying to get caught up too. The one thing that Scott was trying to point out is making, he's being resistant, I think, to the to the Ashland model because he'd like to have all the sides heard. So I think with that, he's also trying to keep it within a reasonable time, right?
Yes.
And then it goes hand in hand, right? The idea of a 4-hour meeting is not very attractive, but having, a good amount of time to hear the data, on both sides of the issue or hear the opinions, I think is important. But I think the part for us is just to outline those important things from an instructional and educational perspective that we represent. And even though we have input on the building committee, I think the message coming clear from us, I think, is just important. And so, but also
I'm going to get very close to wrapping this up because I do know that we have a hard stop at 10 o'clock. So would the committee feel comfortable with me drafting or writing a letter to Mr. McDermott requesting that we have a 3 to 4 minute time slot at the podium? I know 3, but I always go for 4 because they might tell me 2. And then at the next school committee meeting, just before, I can draft a statement essentially from us, and you guys can take a look at it within your packet or within the meeting, and we can kind of make a, or do you feel comfortable with me simply taking all of the opinions and thoughts that we have had over the last 3 to 5 years on this and coalescing them into one statement. So I think that's a read of the room. Do you want to see the draft beforehand, or do you?
I think it would be worthwhile
No.
just to iterate, and Jess, I think it would be worthwhile just to iterate, and, you know.
It's always helpful.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll nail it the first time, but it's always good to, you know.
Okay, so that is fine. Great. Okay.
And thank you for doing
Oh
that.
yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh yeah. Any input into that, Dr. Marston or Michael or anything? You
No,
good with
it's a
that?
great idea.
Okay, great. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to bring this to a vote. And this is really a dotting our I's and crossing our T's vote. We have discussed this, the educational plan, the full project so many times over, literally 40 times, I think, last year, plus all the time that we've spent on the SBC. But I do want to make sure that we have an actual and official vote on the full scope of the project itself as it will be presented to the special town meeting. So short of reading the full MSBA language, which I believe we have all seen and can be entered into the minutes for the meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the new elementary school Dale Street project as it will be proposed to the special town meeting on November 7th, 2021?
So moved.
So moved by Leo. Do I hear a second?
Second, Anna Mae.
Second, Anna Mae. Okay, I'm going to do a roll call. First, Leo
Aye.
and Tim,
Yes,
Megan Glenn,
Aye.
Anna Mae O'Shea Brooke,
Aye.
and Jessica Riley. Aye. The motion passes unanimously, and we do approve the full scope of the project for the new elementary school.
Location and all.
Location and all. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Is there any other business since the time that we have posted, Dr. Marston, or anything you'd like to clarify within that?
No, not this time, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Then do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Anna Mae moves, Leo Brem seconds, and I will again do a roll call. So Leo Brem
Aye.
and Tim Might,
yes,
Anna Mae O'Shea Brooke,
Aye.
Megan Glenn,
Aye.
Jessica Riley, aye, and the meeting is adjourned at 9:56 a.m. Thank you very much. Our next
Ow.
meeting. What?
Ciao.
Oh, ciao. I thought you said ow. I wondered what happened.
No, ciao, ciao. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good
Thank
day,
you.
everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.